All right, so here we have both Lucille's with the control cavity covers taken off. They both have shielding, though one is silver on the new one and one is gold on the old one. But the insides are vastly different. Now, this could be just a little bit of difference, or it could be a huge difference. Some folks that are better qualified at knowing what they're looking at is going to have to take some time and answer these questions, because these pots are all labeled JS, and I have no idea what JS is, but they are all labeled JS. And I'm trying to see if I can get up in there to show you that one, but it's not wanting to cooperate. And then you have this right here. This is a printed circuit board, and I have absolutely no idea what all that printed circuit board stuff does for the Varitone. I know it's bound to be something, and it might be something specific to an older version or possibly to a newer setup. I don't know if that's something that somebody, like I say, if somebody knows something, please make sure and comment on this, because I have no idea what that printed circuit is. Now, by way of comparison, come over here to the 2021 model, and we have CTS branded 500K pots. So, and it seems to be that way across the board on these pots. Yep. Actually, yep, 500. And they are all CTS pots, as well as this device on the Varitone. Now, like I say, why is the old one a printed circuit board versus this new manual switch? Is it an upgrade? I certainly think that having a Varitone switch with manual, and something that you can tangibly see versus a printed circuit board is an upgrade, but that's my own personal opinion, and I might be wrong. Also, the wiring, for all of its craziness, is not wrapped up like it is on this model. This one has shrink tubing wrapped around all of it, whereas this is open, but it seems like it might be better wiring. Just on the little bit that I can see that's exposed, it seems like this is a little bit heavier gauge with a little bit better, just a little bit better solder job, to be honest with you. But I have no idea what JS pots are. I've never seen that until this guitar. So if anybody knows what that is, make sure and let us know in the comments. But the CTS pots I'm super familiar with, and 500K CTS pots is something that I know a lot about. So I can tell you that those are better pots, or I would presume that they're based on their size and branding they are. And the wiring, just like I say, seems to be significantly better than it was in the older one. So there you go. There's the big difference, and you can see the way the capacitors are right there, down there, on this one as well. So they are definitely different. What kind of capacitors are on these? Same basic capacitor setup. See right there, but just a much better pot on the newer one. So, for all of us that were wondering, there is a difference, and possibly better shielding. I really don't know. I don't have enough information on what the gold shielding versus silver shielding is, but there is a difference on the shielding as well. So, put these bad boys back together and I'll run side-by-side demonstrations. All right, so these two guitars do the same thing, although they get to it at very different ways. And as we discovered last time in the video, they seem similar, but at the beginning of this video, you saw that one of them, the old one, has a printed circuit board, and the newer one, the 2021, has a seemingly analog switch for the Varitone switch. With that in mind, there's something I noticed on clean that you never really notice when you have some distortion or crunch added to it. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about as we go through the settings. So, setting 1, bypass. Setting 2 is 5 decibels at 1950 hertz. Position 3 is 12 decibels at 1100 hertz. Position 4 is 16 decibels at 620 hertz. 5 is 18.5 decibels at 360 hertz, and 6 is 6.21 decibels at 120 hertz. So that gives you several different tone settings through the Varitone. Number 1, of course, being the bypass. The 5 decibels at 1950 hertz is basically what everybody identifies as B.B. King tone. So when this plugged in and doing some crunch or a little bit of compression on it on position 2, that's where most people will go, oh, that's your B.B. King tone. But I want to play through both of these back to back and see if you can hear what the difference is between old and new. I'm just going to do a basic chord and then a little blues lick, nothing in each setting. Everything is set to 10. I'm in the middle position. Like I say, go through 1 through 6, and then we'll do the same thing on the 2021 model. So we're starting off on the 2018. So. Position 2. Position 3. Position 4. Position 5. And position 6. All right, so notice that the sound coming out was essentially the same all the way through the entire spectrum of the Varitone switch. All right? All right, again, now this one, 2021, everything's set to 10, starting off in 1. Two. Three. Four. Five. And 6. So can you hear it? There's a definite difference between, because I didn't touch anything on the amplifier. The 2018 model stays audibly at about the same dynamic of volume, whereas the 2021 has a definite drop in output. So I don't know if that's correct, if it's just this guitar. I don't know. But it certainly feels like this 2021 model has an audible difference in its tone drop. Now, the pitches are definitely different on the 2018. And I feel like, I want to verify this one more time. I'm going to put this back in 2 and pick up the other one. But the other thing is, this neck on the 2021 feels like it's slimmer than, no, maybe not. It feels a little bit slimmer, but yeah, I think it's slimmer than the 2018, but just by a fraction. They're probably supposed to be the same. It's just a difference between two different guitars. But like I say, this guitar is louder. This guitar is louder than that one. And like I say, so I don't know if that's the switch, the way the Varitone is. Now, when they're in bypass, it's the same. Basically the same amount of decibels, volume, however you want to put it, it all comes out the same. This one has definitely louder in positions 2 through 6. So, like I say, I don't know if that's something different that's specific to these two guitars or if that's an actual difference. But I'm going to leave everything in 2 and add a little crunch, and it goes away when you boost the amp a little bit. So when you give an amp a little bit of juice, it just disappears. All right, let's play it on the 21 now. See, and so there's position 1 again in bypass. See how it doesn't do it when it's done in, like I say, when it's done in with some crunch or compression on it, it goes away. It's like it boosts it back up, but there's definitely a difference. So here's position 5. And nope, wait a minute, that was 6. Back to 2. So anyway, that's a point of reference. Now, I'm playing through the half stack, through the Hughes and Kettner. Volume's turned down a little bit. Everything's basically set at 12. So it's a basic setup. Now, this is going to be video 2 of a 3 video deal where I'm eventually going to play this one by itself through a couple of tube amps. So this is a hybrid tube solid state with a 4x12 cabinet. So easily emulated, the Hughes and Kettner you can get from Sweetwater or anywhere else, local music stores that carry Hughes and Kettner. The Bajera 4x12 cab is a bare bones absolute. The reason I even bought this cabinet is because I was looking for something that would be budget minded. I was looking for it, and this was $85 on Craigslist. So absolutely 100% not an expensive, way out of the price range boutique amp and half stack setup. It is just your basic setup. So that's the whole reason I bought that amp and a 4x12 is because I was looking for something that would be within somebody's normal price range. And I think it came out wonderful for the price. Like I say, $85 4x12 cab. Look on Craigslist. They're there. So, these guitars, while seemingly similar and visually similar, the way they get to making their tones and what they do with their tones is very different. And the shielding, I don't know if there's a difference between the silver shielding on the 21 and the gold shielding on the 22. I honestly have no idea if that's better or worse. The CTS pots could be something that's helping with the audible difference between these. There might be something, the JS pots that are in the 18, like I say, I don't know where those came from. I know we're CTS pots. I know these are 500K. The markings on the JS pots do not indicate what kind of pots they are, but CTS 500 pots, pretty much, I thought all Gibsons in this build used them, so I'm sure that that's something that's inspired by the Gibson lineup. The Varitone switch that's on here is probably the same setup that's on the Gibson version of a Lucille as well. So there's a pretty high likelihood that these two together, if you put a Gibson one and a Epiphone one next to each other, there'd be a lot of similarities. And I'm really tempted to order up one of them off of, eBay, Reverb, somewhere, just to find out what it looks like on the inside. I've also considered getting a 335 Studio just to see what that control cavity looks like, to see what kind of differences is on there. But again, the feel of the neck is slightly slimmer, and when I go to do the video with the tube amps, I'll get the calipers out and measure it so we can see, but they're not phenomenally different. The fretboards are very different, and it's almost like the 2018 has like a glossy finish over the rosewood, and that's something else. That may or may not be rosewood. I mean, some folks have said they think it's Palfaro, and it might be. I would not put it against Gibson to substitute in Palfaro for something like that, but I believe the spec sheet on the 2018 said it was rosewood fingerboard. That said, there's no way of really knowing, since we're not there, since we weren't there in Indonesia or China to figure out what they were doing when they were building it. This one was China. So, like I say, that's possibly Palfaro, possibly not. But I definitely like the way there's something about an ebony fingerboard that just feels right. And I don't know, it feels right. Just, it looks better and it feels better. And I don't know why. I know I'm an ebony fingerboard snob. I've got an ebony fingerboard Stratocaster for the same reason. But anyway, like I say, so these guitars, very similar in appearance, very similar settings. Everything is supposed to be the same. Even the way some of the settings are on the bridge is similar, but there is 100% definitely a difference on the way they sound and how they get the sound out of the guitar. Because printed circuit versus analog switch, I mean, doesn't get much more different than that. So next video will be 2 amps, 1 guitar. Maybe I'll bring the 2018 in to do that, but I'm really curious as to what this one's going to sound like with the JCM 800 on the back pickup and the Fender Twin Reverb and with the Bassman stack on the front pickup, because I've always thought that it'd be fun to plug it into 2 tubes, so we'll see how it works out. All right, until next time.